Hey, and we are going to experience Schollomancy here, and through it maybe some painful memories or something. What prompted you to do this, Deathmatcher?
Yeah, this time, hello again.
Yeah, by the way.
Yeah, this time, you're wrong. This is not my school or something. Somebody already wrote on YouTube, this is a recreation of a World of Warcraft dungeon, which is called the Scholomance.
Ah, yeah, I remember that comment now.
Yeah, it's
I thought about it earlier today, but I wasn't sure if I just dreamed it up or someone really said something about what Schollomancy actually is.
Yeah, well, if you're not familiar with that game,
Nope.
it is one of the earliest dungeons that was released in the beginning in like 2005, and it was one of the hardest, well, dungeons of the game back then, or the hardest 5-man dungeons, because you could play it with 5 men. And yeah, I thought for the second secret level I really should pick something from like my past experiences with games that had nothing to do with Doom.
So how faithfully is this recreated?
Well, basically what I did was I logged into World of Warcraft and I stood like in that level for a week.
Whoa.
All the time minimizing the game and popping up Doom Builder again, building some little detail, so it's very, very accurate.
That's impressive. Also, I found a switch. Yeah, so I was hoping for some maybe juicy backstory about like school trauma or whatever, but no, it's just boring old World of Warcraft. But we'll see what it means for us. Were these triangle doors also in World of Warcraft? They look
they are triangle shaped there as well. Well, obviously there is some degree of freedom that I took, so it's not a super 100% copy, but yeah, I think everyone from the Doom community that has ever played this dungeon has immediately recognized it.
Oh, maybe I'll try to find a video of it after I'm done with the level. It's interesting to look how much it resembles the dungeon from another game, and to look at, whoa, so many candles, cool, and to look at how shall we say, how difficult the actual level in World of Warcraft, the actual dungeon, looks to recreate in Doom, because even though games of today and pretty much yesterday have all this fancy 3D at their disposal, they aren't really using it too well sometimes, and a lot of games you could recreate pretty much one-to-one in Doom and not use like sectors above sectors or silent teleporters or whatever. And I'm not sure if World of Warcraft's dungeons have like this intricate 3D layout or whatever that would render it difficult to do in Doom.
Yeah,
but
well,
we'll see.
This level was quite, easy to do in that regard, because it has actually very little room overlapping in the original version. So yeah, I could, like, in 90% of the cases, I could just design it straight away without bothering about these things. Like
that's handy.
But in some cases you will find some weird effects and some tricks that I had to use because I didn't want to use like 3D floors or something. And
why?
Yeah, why? Well, there was...
Just don't like them.
I think it was that for DTS-T there was some technologies that I didn't want to delve into. I don't know why. It was like, yeah, I'm going to do that in the next project.
Well, the only thing I could think of right now where the 3D floors would probably help with all the suspension bridges that actually just look like outlines instead of... But that's only if you look like down on them. And yeah, I can... self-imposed limitations are sometimes useful. Press the... what? Brazier? Brazier. What's the brazier?
That's a little thing
that I'm stepping on?
Yeah.
And how do I press it? Do I just... oh, I did press it. Whoa. Oh, Keiko Demon.
Yeah, so the goal of this level is to kill 13 boss monsters, and the bosses, this was already the first boss, are just some normal Doom monsters that I'm using in some particular places.
Well, that's good, because I didn't want to like fight 13 cyber demons.
Yeah, no, I didn't want to have this kind of, cyber demon stuff, or maybe some heavy use of fan-made bosses or something to like create 30 monsters here.
I have never seen a good fan-made boss in my life. They're all kind of either frustratingly difficult or just kind of dull.
Well, I probably disagree, but yeah, in this case I really didn't want to have those in here because it was just a secret level and I didn't want to put that much custom.
Well, you know, if you disagree, it's probably because you saw something that I haven't seen, because I haven't seen too many to make actual correct judgments.
I have played, what's it called? The one that was recently released, the wintry theme.
Winter's Fury?
Yeah, Winter's Fury, that one.
I haven't
It
saw
has
that.
some very nice boss fights in there. You should probably play that one if you haven't.
I'll just watch Hypoca's LP because apparently he finished it not long ago.
Yeah.
I remember him saying something interesting about it, but I already forgot. Something to look forward to, like in the very end of the WOD. Maybe there's like 10,000 bosses one after another or something like that. But yeah, so yeah, this is probably because you've been recreating a dungeon, but this looks quite a bit more detailed than your usual levels, even the first, fourth episode. Looks really nice.
Yeah, I'm glad that you say that, because this is exactly what I figured out after having completed it, that the level looks very detailed for my kind of standards that I had, even with the fourth episode. So this is actually the reason why I'm very happy with this level, and it's probably one of my best works in that regard, because kind of recreating something forced me to be even better than I normally do.
Also, I like the tiny bookshelves. Haven't seen those like ever at all. First time I've seen. Is it just like two halves of this texture smushed together?
Yeah, I kind of varied this one texture a lot here. I think there are two or even three different bookshelves, or even four maybe, that are all just created using this one texture.
It's crazy. Yeah, there's although the really narrow bookshelves like this look kind of funny, but maybe it's just my mood today. I don't know why.
You're not in the bookshelf kind of mood today.
Well, I rarely ever am, even though I read a lot of books throughout like recent years. I hate the part of looking for new books to read on my bookshelves, because most of the books aren't what I would want. But when I actually find one, then it starts getting interesting. Before you said something else, I wanted to expand a little bit on my thought there on the 3Dness of modern games, and how un-3D they sometimes seem. A lot of games recently, I've noticed it mainly when I'm trying to do gameplay on my Doom levels, and I've noticed that in modern games quite a lot of time you can just get away with like a straight corridor where monsters or enemies or whatever it is just pretty much come out of, well, from before you, and nothing fancy, no fancy like setups, architecture, and anything. Like Metro Last Light I've been playing. Really good game, I really enjoyed it. But, well, the human enemies don't really count because they're really different from Doom's enemies. But the mutants, which are pretty much like a Doom enemy, which they just run at you and bite you, they just kind of spawn in a couple places all around you and run to you on the flat surface, that whatever room you're fighting them in right now. And that's kind of it seems to me that making gameplay for the maps in today's games is much easier. But yeah, that's just a little thing I noticed, I thought about recently. Don't know how related it is to the WOD at hand. Just wanted to get that off my chest.
Alright.
Alright, yeah, now we're talking. Now I'm completely free to comment on the WOD. Also, is this guy blocked from like exiting this little chamber?
Yeah, basically in World of Warcraft you fight the bosses at various spots, and I didn't really want the monsters to stride very far from them here, so I kind of blocked him.
It could have been an interesting demonstration of how Doom Monsters AI is better than World of Warcraft's, if you could actually escape.
Yeah, that's probably not that far-fetched, because the World of Warcraft AI is actually very basic. like every cool effect is really done by scripting.
Yeah, well, that's the usual case today. Feel like such an old timer now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am. Yeah, so that was the second boss, I guess.
Yeah.
And so, do you really fight a boss in such a tiny room in World of Warcraft?
Well, you kind of drag him out into the open, and then you can fight him in the corridor here. It's probably
Well, you really should have made him able to at least like come around his room.
Yeah.
This room, I mean.
Well,
it would be more interesting to fight him when you have to like hide, run around, and he would resurrect some of the zombie men.
I think somebody asked me why I didn't really recreate the mechanics of the bosses, because they are very much, highly scripted and very different from one another. But yeah, there was a bit of a too far. I didn't really want it to fetch it that far.
Okay, there's some shenanigans going on here. Ah, yes.
Yeah, this is just a silent teleporter. Actually, there's like, I think 4 or 5 different silent teleporters on the staircase to, so that you have approximately the right angle when you go down. So if you go to the very far left of the stair, for example, you still vaguely have the correct position.
That's actually strange, because usually silent teleporters, well, proper silent teleporters pretty much just preserve your position whenever, maybe use different technique or something. But I wanted to give props because I didn't notice that teleporter, probably because it was on the stairs where movement is jerky as it is. There are lines, I don't know what you used here, but there are like lines, and you can have 2 lines with the same tech and have both actions be like silent teleport to the line with the same tech, and it would pretty much preserve your angle, your position along the line, and all
from memory, it's hard to recall what I actually used. Maybe it's that I even toyed around with all different techniques, but I don't know from memory which one is actually in there right now.
Well, judging by how, as you said, it's divided into like segments, and I saw on the map that I was being reset to a bit of a middle here.
So
yeah, I do change position slightly.
Very slightly.
I'm willing to bet that there is some usage of teleport destination spots still going on, which is really not necessary for silent teleport. Also, what's this hole here? I'm being very careful when I'm pressing the L button to look down, because I know what can happen. Also, I should probably save.
Yeah, you should. I think in this level, if you press it, you would immediately exit the level. Like you would in Vivarium as well.
Yep. So what's with the holes here? I obviously cannot squeeze down there. Are these the promised toilets, or... oh no, the toilet...
No, we're past the toilets already. This is just some... well, I will say something about it a bit later on.
Oh, okay. No, the only thing, I haven't played much. Well, I have played a little bit of World of Warcraft, and I think I already said this. Whoa, this is cool. Well, damn it. He resurrected. These piles of skulls and heads are really cool looking. That was a boss. Okay, I'm not complaining. Oh, damn it. Oh, snap. Okay, rocket launcher time. Also run out of the room time. What was that? Yes, I only played World of Warcraft on pretty much on a pirated server, because I didn't, even though I have a legit like bought copy box of the game still, even though I lost the whatever code there was in the box for the verification, I still didn't want to like pay monthly fees back when that was how it went. And I just tried it on a pirate server, and I concluded that I didn't like the game because quests didn't work, dialogue didn't work, and stuff like that. Yeah, but of course I'm always joking about it, but I just think I'm not excited about the genre of massive multiplayer RPGs at all.
Yeah, well, it's not for everyone. I mean, I played it for a while and it was quite fun. But it also is very time-consuming. Much more time-consuming than just playing the odd first-person shooter. So
that's a big point. But what was I going to say? Ah, yes. So I don't know much about World of Warcraft at all, but I know, I don't remember from where, but I know like one thing. I think it's one of the stories like about cut content from games. And apparently in World of Warcraft there is like a room that's normally inaccessible in one of the dungeons. That's upside down sinners, I think. room where there's a bunch of dudes on chains underwater. That's really
actually,
cool.
that room is not accessible in the game anymore, to my knowledge. But
Even with the glitches?
what? Sorry?
Even with the glitches? Because I know that it used to be accessible only using glitches.
Yeah, I think they completely removed it.
That's a pity. That was like the coolest thing about World of Warcraft.
Yeah, there was actually that was one of my scariest moments in the entire game, where it was not in a dungeon, but it was in the open world. You go to some monastery, or some crypt, and then you can die, and in spirit form you can go through a grids, and then you can actually arrive in the upside down sinner's room, which totally serves no purpose whatsoever. You can only go there in like ethereal form. It was very scary, and I immediately called some friends. I had to show them.
I can almost imagine, because you wouldn't really expect anything to be in a place where you wouldn't normally be allowed to access, and when something unexpected like that happens in a game, it's well, it has the potential of sending chills down one's spine, even if the game is normally not scary at all. Also, hopefully you noticed I was looking for a while there.
I was, yeah.
Bricks here really should be bricks. Okay, whatever. Now I'll just try to figure out where to go. Once again, the silent teleports and the stairs don't really help my navigation using map, but
yeah, but so about the holes, actually, in the original game you can jump down the holes and then you arrive in the Revenant room. Yeah, but I kind of couldn't be asked to do some fully fledged floor above another floor technique there, so I just. But
I think I saw in a couple of words where you would just jump down some hole and then get teleported. Realistically, so it would look like you drop down, and it would just teleport into that room. So you didn't really need to do floor above floor, but probably still doing something like that would involve a lot of like research on how to do stuff. So completely understandable, and I wouldn't be able to fit down those holes anyway. So it's, I don't know. Maybe if you wind on them for the fat Doom guy body, it would not be realistic anymore. Realistic, I mean, authentic for the dungeon. This looks like some really... that was about... okay. The whole place gives me, well, with the books and whatever, looks like some, I don't know, a layer of some sinister warlocks that study magic and plan to take over the world.
That is a very accurate description of what this room is in World of Warcraft. It's a school of necromancy, where where some cult actually is taught how to summon demons and dabble into the occult and stuff like that. And this room here is called the viewing room, and is, I think, where the pupils stand at the little coffins and practice some stuff. And you probably noticed the small slope here, or the gentle slope going down. This is also present in the World of Warcraft game, and it was a bit tricky to actually recreate this with all the ceiling architecture and stuff like that going on. But yeah, managed it.
Yeah, good job on that. Let's look at the ceiling architecture while the archviral comes closer. It doesn't look too complex, but I wonder how well it meshes with the slopes, because I have no idea how to do slopes. I haven't tried yet. Yeah,
it was an awful segmenting of sectors and placing special thing IDs there and stuff like that. And I think at one time I completely fucked up and had to start over.
Well, that happens to the best of us, yeah. I wonder if Doom Builder 2 is like similarly super functional and easy with this stuff like this, because sometimes I remember this was one of my biggest things I liked about Doom Builder 2 when I transferred from Doom Builder 1 was you could just cut sectors to other sectors and it would divide them on properly and stuff. So it wouldn't actually, if you had like one big slope and then cut sectors into the ceiling, would it not divide the slope into proper sectors and just do everything for you?
Yeah, basically it does that, but I still had lots of problems in that room. Well, not lots of problems, but I did have some problems there that I kind of never ran into before.
These things, you don't really know about them unless you ask someone who needed to suffer through them, because I'll be honest, doesn't look that complicated until I just figure out After you said that you had some problems, I had to think about what would be problematic in this room, and I thought that maybe the slope and the ceiling at the same place would be problematic.
Yeah, that was exactly my point.
So yeah, that was some things you really need to know, like the history behind them or the technique that's used to make them to really appreciate. And sometimes when you know all the techniques, it just kind of makes everything more boring. So but yeah, I'm glad I have a newfound appreciation for that one room. This looks like cauldrons and
yeah, that's what they are. They are actually floating
oh.
in mid-air in the World of Warcraft version, but yeah, I decided to place them on some pedestals here.
Chains. Are they chains?
Yeah, these are torture bands or whatever it's called.
For really short people.
And can you see the monsters in the tubes up there?
Well, I didn't actually notice, but let's look very carefully.
It's a bit better in GZ Doom actually, because yeah.
I see one.
And I think it's bugged sometimes, but actually the monsters should be bobbing up and down like in some liquid.
Yeah, they are. At least I saw the.
Yeah, I
he
think
just kind of skips up.
Yeah, the effect is resetting at times a bit oddly, but yeah.
There is like a flag. I think it's called float bob, that when applied to a thing and decorate, that would just cause it to float up and down like pickups in Hexen. That would probably have helped with the.
Okay.
If you made like a custom decoration using monster sprites in that flag.
I'm just using sector special here, which I automatically trigger indefinitely.
No, also works, I suppose. Also, that float bob flag. I just for a while I don't have anything to talk about here while I looking for a way out. Only recently discovered that. Whoa! No, that was a noticeable silent teleport.
Yeah, there was one. I thought you would stumble across it. I arrived at. Was probably the most tricky point, where really geometry was overlapping in the World of Warcraft dungeon, and I decided to make an experiment here and just make a screenshot of the entrance and place it there as a teleport portal.
Wait, what? There's a screenshot? What?
Yeah, did you notice it? That's great. I just was very, very cheap here. And it worked for you. That's good.
Yes, apparently it worked quite well. Wow, that reminds me of Postal 2.
It's kind of an experiment that I wanted to try here.
Well, I thought it was noticeable for other reasons. I thought you just changed the sector that you copied for like this part, and that was really much darker than it needs to be. But wow, if you haven't spelled that out for me, I probably wouldn't notice, because I initially just kind of looked at it, said, it's noticeable, and then I probably wouldn't pay much attention. Yeah, as I was trying to say before, interesting stuff happened again. Well, so many people around here. The float bob flag, a good example of how ZDoom developers. I once heard an opinion that someone didn't like ZDoom because the people behind it often would change stuff that would break some older WODs and whatever. And I was reading like the wiki for something, looking for something about ZDoom, and then there was a section where they outlined the planned changes for the next version, and they say that the float bob flag is going to change in a way that it's only like a visual effect and not the actual thing moving up and down, which made me pretty upset, because one of my cooler things in my WOD actually uses that, and it's really dependent on the fact that it's also not just looks like it's bobbing up and down, but the actual thing also does, because it shoots like stuff, and it needs to shoot stuff from the center, and yeah, that would fuck things up severely. But for your case, it would completely work. In case you ever need to make bobbing monsters in tubes again.
Yeah, good to know actually for the future.
Yeah. Also, I just paid attention to, apparently these are carpets, if I'm correct.
Yeah, these are carpets.
This is the only and the first time when I see a carpet that's not the same height as the floor, raised by 1 pixel, I think, and I don't have an issue with it. Usually I dislike carpets that are thick, because if you like compare Doom pixel measurements with like real life stuff, 1 pixel thick carpets are like 4 centimeters or something. I don't remember the mathematics behind that. At least 2, so it's really thick carpet. But on that one, I don't know why that one just looks so fine. So I don't know.
Maybe
And
because it has a rim on it, like around it.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, the rim looks like the stuff that would be more puffy than the rest of the carpets. So yeah, that's also the green carpets. I only just now, when I acknowledge that these are carpets, I think there was one in like one of the first rooms, and I was always, well, I don't know how noticeable it was, but I was subconsciously trying to avoid it because it looked like sludge or toxic waste or something.
I'm actually using the texture again in the future as some nature growth, but you will see that by the yeah. Sometimes this is allowed, I think, in the Doom engine because it's abstract enough.
Oh yeah. Wait, what is allowed? Reusing textures for different stuff?
Yeah, to sometimes use a texture for some natural thing, and another point using it for some material.
Yeah, a lot of textures are varied like that enough, because yeah, just recently I was there is a texture, one of the floor textures in one map I'm using. It's like if you imagine wooden planks, and like the part of the plank where it's cut off, that texture looks like, well, wood that has been cut off. And in another map I use the texture like for asphalt, for a road. So some textures are really versatile, and I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
The white pebbles, I remember my favorite creative reusage of texture for a completely different thing. The white pebbles, as I think I told you, in one map I saw them used inside trash bins as like crumpled paper, not white pebbles.
Yeah, but
and stuff like that.
What bothered me a bit was when you did that Let's Play with that other guy, and you were talking about the plastic graves. Can you remember that?
Yeah, well, that texture, we're used to thinking that those textures are plastic.
Yeah, I used that texture so much for stone in the past that it was kind of funny to me that some people actually consider it plastic.
Well, yeah, there is about the UAC tech-based textures, a lot of them are like the Star 10 textures and Star textures in general. Some people think they're stone, some people think they're metal, some people think they're plastic, some people even think they're soft. So it's really open for discussion, and some concrete slabs may look like metal or whatever. So yeah, that. But I don't know. I only like think of that texture as some sort of lining inside, like on the inside of the buildings, nice plastic walls, futuristic and whatever. So that's especially the variants of the textures that have like these horizontal darker parts. I don't, the big texture of the family, that really doesn't look like it's cut from stone, because it would be kind of silly for UAC to make such architecture for their bases out of stone. So yeah, in my head those were always plastic. Okay, I guess I said it in that same video, I think, that when you just don't take into account what you used to think about textures, they really don't have to be stone. If you look at them, plastic. If you look at them just completely without context, they could very well look like stone. So yeah, that's not big of an issue unless you're completely like stuck with your interpretations.
Yeah.
Which I'm thankfully not. Also, well, I'm remembering all the time that incident with kill monsters, and how neither of us actually noticed until way later how that happened, and it just makes me think about how little I apparently pay attention to anything except like some small part of the screen when I try to talk. So right now I have completely no recollection which rooms of this area I visited and which I didn't. Apparently there are more rooms here, or
well, no, this is the final boss already. Once you've killed him, you will be teleported.
Well, that was really quick.
Yeah, it's not that big of a level actually. maybe we would actually go to the next level. I'm here. Huh. Ah yes, like last time, I forgot. Last time that was also a surprise that I was sent to the actual level where I... Yeah.
That's cool. I liked it last time and I like it this time.
Actually, it's only now that I notice how quick the level can actually be played through compared to the normal ones.
Even when I'm playing like myself and commentating and stuff, I'm not really paying attention and looking where I'm going. So yeah, that was, well, I think with that level of detail and the effort that apparently went into making it faithful to the original source material, I imagine if you would try to make that level, well, not even thinking about how it would not be faithful to the layout of the original, if it is, of course, right now, I don't know. It would probably be way too much work keeping up that level of detail for each level.
Also, I didn't want to add things to the level because, yeah, I covered everything that was in the original version.
It would be interesting, and more interesting for me as someone who what was I going to say? Would probably be more interesting to me if I actually saw the dungeon or played more Warcraft. If you just like recreated what was there and then went on make like another half in the same style but of completely your rooms and your content, and that would be probably an interesting kind of thing to, I don't know, if you translate that level into a Doom level and then kind of make your own style out of it, so it translates into other levels in this style, and how you could play through those levels and imagine what they would look like in World of Warcraft and something like that would be interesting.
Well, I might pursue things like these in the future. It definitely influenced the way I'm designing things.
I think actually, even though sometimes it's kind of fun, especially it's fun when I know the original material, I should really focus on doing your own stuff, not just recreating. It could be, I guess it could be useful for practice with difficult architecture and whatnot, but you can still come up with that yourself, I guess, I think. Even though, yes, sometimes recreations of things from other games are interesting just for what they are. Like there is like a map recreation of something from Bioshock by an actual Bioshock level designer in Doom or something like that.
Yeah, I think it won a Keiko award and I had a look at it, but to be honest, I kind of didn't connect to that level. Because I didn't play Bioshock, so it was just some random Doom level to me.
Neither did I, and so yeah, I didn't even try that one. So you were saying about maybe going, is the Blood and Steel level short, kind of short?
It's not really short, no, but yeah, I mean, it's up to you if you want to step in.
Well, I am slightly scared, let's say, of stepping in and then like opening my eyes after a second and ending up with 3 hours of footage. And right now, as I'm looking at the time on the Skype call, it is just seems so alluring to just render the video, to be able to finally render a video in one part, because it's small enough for one part.
Well, that doesn't speak anything against just doing a short Let's Play this time.
Yeah, I think, especially since you said that you preferred from now on more videos with me and Hippocat, and me and Hippocat already decided that we would record on Thursday and on Saturday, so there's plenty of time to play these levels when I'm not pressured for time. And so yeah, let's just kind of stop it here, and next time with Hippocat we are going to go into Of Blood and Steel. But for now, we're just sitting down, saving in all the slots, saying our goodbyes while I do that. Hint, hint.
Yep, bye-bye. Hope I can step in a last time before you go to the end.
You mean in the videos or in the thread?
Oh yeah, in the Let's Plays, actually.
Oh, okay. Well, as usual, contact me whenever you know where you're available for that.
Yep.
And I don't know while we are saying this still in the video, so yeah, goodbye.